Hey, hey, hey. What's up, Discover You Late Nation? Oh, what's going on? It's Saturday. It could be Sensational Saturday. What are you doing with yourself? What are you doing for yourself? Yay! I get a moment to come again and say hi to all of you. And it is a pleasure to be alive, to be well, to be kicking, being healthy and being able to do anything is a blessing. When you're not sitting in the hospital hoping somebody would visit you, you've been good to forever, and then you think the love would come from there, but then it doesn't, all that happens. So I'm excited when things are well. And I love to celebrate, take note of that, Today, I thought I'd come before you as promised and share some things that I think people assume, myths actually, that they would have heard, things passed on from generation to generation that is not true. But, we perpetuate because we've been hearing this crap for so long, we never stop to check and see. We never stop to fact check it and see if it's true. So I want, in the spirit of, all of last week, we talked about body care and how to take care of you from head to toe. We talked about how, the skin is the largest organ on our body, and how to keep it clean, We didn't go in depth into facial care, but we talked from head to toe about what it is to keep good hygiene. But not only that, but to elevate whatever it is we're taught and what we're doing. So yeah, in the spirit of that, I want to touch on some things to continue down that path. So today I want to bring the conversation open, where we talk about SPF. Why should we even do sunscreen? I want to talk about, dispel some of the untruths about SPF. Okay? So that's my intent today. I know that different folks, different strokes, different cultures, different strokes. We are taught in groups different things and differently. And so I'm going to talk to everybody across the board. I'm going to talk to the melanated folks who don't think they need none. I'm going to talk to the not so melanated folks who, I've been doing this all my life. I don't need none of that. And don't really know what they're saying no to. Because we have a lot of older folks that just were caught up, I want to say, in taking care of themselves, not themselves, taking care of their families, because older folks are big on that. Take care of everybody else, but not themselves. And that's how we end up with a lot of mental health situation that goes unchecked, and then some things end up in a bad situation. So we're not looking to perpetuate any of that. What they say, in all you're getting, get understanding. Because, hey, perspective is everything. It changes the whole outcome, the results you would get. So that's just, I would say, huge. That's huge. So let's see who is going to join us today and how are we going to get into it. Okay. First, I want to talk about the first myth I want to deal with here is, well, before I get into that and while we wait on some folks to come about, right? Let's look at how's your Saturday going. My Saturday, I got debuted today. Okay. God has been so good to me. So we had a Mary Kay event this morning and it was phenomenal. I'm sure it's on Facebook because a lot of the ladies in the room had their phones out and went live just recording the situation. There were a bunch of new directors that came out and are excited about beginning the new Mary Kay year as a director, and you know, whatever it is God called them to do, they're excited about their vision and mission and goals. And it was just a beautiful time of celebration, to see how far you've come and how, you know, all the things you learned in the journey. So I'm excited. It was good. I'm a little tired, but I was gonna keep my word before I even tried to take a nap, because yesterday I went and walked Stone Mountain, and man, I have not gone through the whole winter. So this was my first time going back. And it was also the first time that I would actually walk the base of the mountain. I have been up and down so many times. But what I didn't realize, and this is what I should have done my homework. So going up the mountain is like a mile up. So like you do 2 miles going up, coming down, and you can do it in an hour, and you're good. But going the base of the mountain, something different, boy. I tell you. So I went with a friend, somebody that was auditioning to be a friend. And you know, I'll say she's 70 in numbers, but listen, at heart she's probably 35. Okay. So that means I underestimated the situation when she said, hey, you want to walk the base of the mountain, or you want to go up and come down? And I was like, ooh, in my head, thinking, you know what? Going up and down, if I don't have to do it, I don't want to. Because, you know, you go up on an incline, and it's a lot of work, okay? So I'm like, for at least for the first time being back, let me just walk the grounds. Yeah, it might be a little hilly, but not too much, because it's not like it's, you know, no steep hills. So I'm thinking I'm safe on the base, going on around the base of the mountain. But let me tell you, not true. So I believe these lies. The ones those were the ones in my head that was saying that the bottom would be easier than going up and down. Did you know? The bottom is 5 miles around. 5 miles around the base of the mountain. And this chick talking with ease, like, you know, you want to go around the base of the mountain? Yeah. Or you want to go up and down? I was like, ooh, options. Let's go, well, let's walk the base. We'll walk and talk. We won't feel it, you know. Listen, I felt it. I felt it so much, I threw my hip out, which was very surprising. Because, you know, a girl's still young, yeah. With the side eye, right? But listen, I conquered. I came. I did as promised. I walked the base of the mountain and came back in. Now, we did it early in the morning, so I'm thinking, yeah, let me knock it out, and then I'll have the rest of my day to myself, and I'll feel fabulous because I did what I am supposed to do. Because, you know, I've been telling myself I'm going to go get the workout in, get it done, and move forward. I was broken afterwards. I mean, the whole day I was walking with a limp. I was croaked over like an old person. I was like, you know what? You cannot be this inactive for for a long period of time. Because hey, winter is months. And not only did I not do the winter, I can't count the times like before, like in the fall last year that I walked. So yeah, winter. I did not walk in the winter. And because I was just starting out yesterday, I look back and realized I did not even walk in the spring. So that's 2 seasons. And then for me to go and say I'm walking, oh my gosh, and then start off with 5 miles? Who does that? Apparently people who don't do their homework. So, I was not happy. I was a broken, hurting camper. But I'm here now because guess who's married to a chiropractor that loves to rub on, pull things, And so I was able to get my hip hop back into place. I was able to get my my rhythm returned to me. Okay. I was concerned about myself, okay? A girl was not in these streets happy. I was croaked over and in pain. I won't do that again, which means that I have to go back soon so that I don't get that result like ever again. Because if this 70-year-old can knock it out the park and talk to me when we come back around, she goes, hey, girl, just something to consider. If it's 5 miles around the mountain one time, it's 10 miles twice. I was looking at her like, oh, God bless you, girl. You so sweet. Because I barely made it back the first time. Okay? I don't know about this second time in the same day. At the same time, because I know she ain't talking about let's do it in the morning and afternoon, right? Like she's talking about let me 2 laps around the mountain. No. She tried to give me my summer body tomorrow with this, So I was like, politely decline. Yes, I did. I cannot, I will not, I shan't. Okay? No. Fitness is one thing. Health is one thing. But I'm making a career out of walking. My God. Anyway. That said, a girl is happy to come before you pain-free the day after. And I know it's just because of my husband. Because this thing would have been hurting. Well, I can't say that only. It's because he knows what to do, and it's because of God that gave me the husband. Yep, I'm telling you. I prayed so hard. I was like, Lord, please don't let me wake up in all this pain that I can't attend, my very own debut. That would be bad. Huh? I invited friends, so I was expecting people, so I cannot be the person celebrated and can't come. So, yeah, that's what I did. So yeah, let's talk about myth. The first myth that we're gonna dispel, we're gonna bust up. Hoo-ha! So the first myth we're gonna deal with is I don't need sunscreen on cloudy days. What? Say what? Everybody needs sunscreen every day. Every day. I'll tell you why. UV rays can penetrate clouds, okay? Up to 80% of the UV radiation can still reach your skin on overcast days. Sunscreen is needed every day, regardless of the weather. So even when you're sitting in the shade, you need to know this, okay? Because it'll affect your life. I mean, what about UV protection? UV protection is pretty, important, regardless of whether you're in the shade or not. Sunlight is reflective, and a lot of things absorb the sunlight well, some things not so much. But you outside or near the window, these things it'll come right back. It'll come right back and harm you. So you need to know that ultraviolet light is not great for our situation, our skin. And so we must be in some way proactive about getting protections, about taking precautions. The second myth I want to talk about today is the one where people go, sunscreen is only for the beach and outdoor activities. Excuse me? Okay. Sunscreen is not just for the beach. Sunscreen is essential even when you indoors. UV rays can penetrate windows, and you're exposed to them when you're driving or sitting by the windows, or even through indirect sunlight. Regular care. Get comfortable with your sunscreen, because regular care is important. It is key to keep a lot of skin cancer, skin diseases, away. Okay? Take care of yourself. Take a moment to put some sunscreen on and be protected, rather than being in these streets taking your chances. You don't want to be taking chances and not listening to and not putting on the little sunscreen you can. I always don't live your days with regrets you don't need to have. Sunscreen is easy. It should be an easy decision, but I will say, for a lot of the times, because of these things that we hear, and because it's new to some of us, I guess. I've been wearing coconut oil my whole life. I don't need no sunscreen. Get an education. That's what I will say. So, myth number 3 that I will address. You can get sunburn in the winter. Yes, you can. Remember, in the first 2 myths, I explained that just the sunlight, right? The UV rays can penetrate through certain material, you can be in the shade, and just the reflections that's under there, you can still get an indirect sunlight, but they're still going to do the damage they're going to do, because we're going to talk about there being UVA and UVB. UVA and UVB sunlight that hurts, radiation that you don't need, that does so much damage. So the UVA are the aging rays, and the UVB are the burning rays. Ultraviolet light is not cute. And so, if you don't mind looking like a prune, wrinkled everywhere and all, from all this, that we do, the squinting and all the things that it causes, all the lines on here, that we call crow's feet, eagle's feet, these type things. I'm telling you, those things, Those things are also a little squinting we do when we don't use no protection, right? No UV protection. Hello. You want to get your sunscreen on. Sunscreen protects, let's see. So snow, water, and even sand can reflect ultraviolet rays, meaning you can still get sunburn in the winter, especially if you're doing outdoor activities. Just because it's cold doesn't mean you can be out there for extended periods of time in the sunlight thinking nothing. I'm not doing no damage. I don't need no sunscreen. It's cold. Has nothing to do with the temperature. It has to do with the radiation. Okay? The sun, oh my gosh, the UVA aging rays and the UVB burning rays will take its toll. It'll do its job. It don't need no heat. And you may not feel the direct heat, but stuff is happening. So you need your sunscreen even in cold times. Sunscreen should, my words. Sunscreen should be worn all year long. Okay, especially in snowy conditions, because you can really get carried away with not logging how much time you're outside. And I'm telling you, after 15 minutes, damage is being done. Okay, you do need that vitamin D, and that is excellent for you, but you have to remember over 15 minutes is a little too toasty and a little too harmful. So I would say get your sunscreen on. So the fourth thing I want to address is when people say sunscreen. These are some things, of course, that have been sent in to me. Questions that people have or responses they have when I ask them about, prepping your skin for the day. Because, hey, you're not going to look gorgeous just like that. Okay? You have to put some effort into presenting your most excellent self. And so the sunscreen only protects against sunburn, not long-term damage. That's what some people say. That sunscreen only protects you against sunburns and not long-term damage. I just explained to you, sunscreen does much more than prevent sunburn. It protects you against, hold on. I wrote down what I wanted to say, so I don't want to get off topic. It protects you against your skin from the UVA rays, which can lead to premature aging, wrinkles, and skin cancer. Remember, I talk about it, right? The creases and lines that set in, that you don't need to be a part of your presentation of your best self. So I want to throw that out there again. You want to get a good broad spectrum sunscreen that protects you against both, which is why I love my Mary Kay, because they have their sunscreen in your skincare set. Hopefully you're on a set. Even if it's a basic set, the sunscreen is 30 plus. And so yes, you can put your sunscreen on for the day and put more on later. We'll talk about that too. So the next thing I want to address, the next myth buster, okay, is I don't need sunscreen if I have dark skin. Where my melanated folks at? Y'all know what it is. You need the sunscreen probably just like everybody else, The fact is, while people with darker skin tones have some natural protection, they're still at risk for UV damage, including skin cancer and premature aging. This is about everybody. Since sunscreen is important for all skin tones to reduce long-term risk. Who need to be out here getting skin cancer in the 2000s when knowledge is so everywhere, right? All you gotta do is Google something if you want to know more. And there's no longer, you should no longer be giving yourself the out with old sayings without checking to see if those sayings are in any way gonna give you a negative result. And that's what's important. So that's what I would say to that. Next, if you find yourself squinting and doing the most and getting the wrinkles and the things and so on, as you know, when you go to the eye doctor, right, and you get glasses, it takes you a minute to start using them, but you realize the difference between when you have them on and when you don't have them on. And so it may take you a while to get into the habit of always remembering to bring them with you. But I know you know the difference. And so if you don't use sunscreen and don't think it's important, or you feel like any one of these myths that I have spoken about is what you would normally say, just try it. And then you can compare the difference when you have sunscreen to when you didn't care about sunscreen. And then, yeah, be honest with yourself so you can grow, okay? That I'll say, because without your willingness to be transparent to yourself first, there can be no growth. And so consider these things. All right, so another one. Myth number 6. Once I apply sunscreen, I'm good for the whole day. I touched on it a little bit just now when I answered one of the previous ones. Sunscreen needs to be reapplied every 2 hours or more. Frequently, if you're sweating and swimming, I know the labels say, oh, we're waterproof and blah, blah, blah. But you'll go to the beach for the whole day, set yourself up with your sunscreen thing, and think you're Gucci. And then you was at the beach sitting in the sun for 6 hours reading a good book. Please know, if you didn't, please know you need to reapply that thing. You need to spray yourself down again, okay, so that you can be properly taken care of. Even if it says water resistant, sunscreens lose their effectiveness over time. And so after 2 hours, yes, you want to reapply. Another myth that I want to talk about. Sunscreen is harmful and toxic to the skin. That's them old people vibes. Stuff that they weren't, comfortable with. Things that were just new. They came up with all kinds of excuses not to progress. And then I know when I'm applying old thinking. And if I may say so myself, right? You know, the Bible talks about old wineskin and new wineskin. I know when I'm applying that old mindset, right? And what they say, you can't pour new wine into old wineskin because the wine will expand it, but the old wineskin is so hard and set, what does it do? It'll burst. And so you have to be open and have new thinking and new approach to get the benefits and the results you're looking for, right? So that's what I have to say to that. Modern sunscreen are formulated with ingredients that are safe and effective. Please know that. Mineral sunscreen made of zinc oxide and titanium dioxide offer a physical barrier, while chemical sunscreens are absorbed by the skin to protect from UV rays. Both are safe when properly used. What do? A lot of times we buy stuff. What do the same old wineskin do? And the old people, what they do? They like to take out stuff, assume they can know everything, and throw away the manual. Do you have anybody in your life that did that before? Let me tell you. I have seen that so many times. Usually it's with men. They figure, I can look at the picture, I know what it's supposed to be, I know where to put what. I'm just going to apply my experience. But this is a new product you never had and you just bought it. Don't you want to read the manual? No, I can fix it. And then they put whatever together, and what happened? They got extra pieces, y'all. Extra pieces left over. Trust and believe. The people ain't put no extra pieces in the box. Everything was supposed to be used. So I'm saying, that is so funny to laugh at. But when I think back, just on where we came from and the crap that we were told, and didn't apply no thinking to it. There was too much else going on, right? My God. But anyway, yes, sunscreen is not harmful. We've had it on the market for long enough, because I was about to say I'm of the old mindset of thinking I don't like to use nothing when it just came out. I like to wait a while and see what their results are going to be, okay? What is their, I like to see, when I say see what their results are going to be, I want to know, like these UV lights that they put in on their face and all that. They talk about it's going to keep your face, your blood vessels stimulated, and, you're going to have, just better blood. Your complexion is going to be clear and all that. You know what that could be achieved? You know how that could be achieved? By simply using a roller. And that ain't got no damage that it's going to do to my face. You know what I mean? I can use that roller and put it up, across my forehead, down my nose, and I could stimulate my blood flow. Same complexion clear up I'm going to get. Same results I'm going to get. And I don't have to try that. At least not yet. Give it 10 years. Give it a while, you know what I'm saying. I'm going to see what results they get. Who got skin cancer, who did it too much and ended up, it not being a benefit as much as it should have been, So yeah, that's my old mindset on that. So I can relate to folks who who at that time, way back when, thought that sunscreen was harmful or toxic. Okay? They're like, I'm out in the sun, nothing happening to me. But you ain't never been old yet. Hold on. So later on, let's see when you're all wrinkly and whatnot, then we're going to see the results of what you being in the sun and being outside working so hard with no protection. Let's see where that's gonna get you. But you can't tell in the moment. Don't give me no right now testimony. You ain't really finished the test. So I am here to say I do subscribe and recommend that we get some sunscreen, because it's just good human care for yourself. Okie dokie. So, trust in the modern science that by now they got it right, and know that it is good for you. All right, and we're moving forward. Myth number 8 that we are going to address. When people say you only need sunscreen on exposed skin, you know, I'm gonna put it here, okay? I'm not gonna put it. What you trying to say? When you don't you be sweating and does the heat still pass through your clothes? Sunscreen should be applied to all skin that could be exposed to the sun, including areas like your ears, your neck, your back of your hands, you know, and even your lips. Use a lip balm with SPF as a great addition to your skincare routine. So don't just skip over these things anymore, because with knowledge comes now it's on you to operate differently, because what they say, insanity is doing the same things expecting different results. And so as you widen your knowledge pool, as you get more information, you get different perspective. But in my experience, right, folks got to be ready for the truth. They got to be not even ready. They got to be ready to accept the new information, the new knowledge. And then with that readiness, have a plan of action to implement and not just be a hearer. I'm telling you, this thing is true. Because all that keeps popping to mind for me is scripture, right? What it say? Don't just be hearers of the word, but be doers also, so that you can see the results. You can't see the results if you're not applying the new knowledge. Okie dokie. Okay, wisdom is the practice of the knowledge that you receive. So that's what I'm saying, you guys. So I got just a few more myths to go. Let's see. I have one that says, people like to say sunscreen is just for summer. Well, I pretty much talked about that earlier and we said sunscreen is an all year round thing, because even in the snow and the whatnot, in the cold, you can still get sunburn spending long times outside. And I even said earlier that you can get sunburn just being in the shade. Okay, wherever the sun is reflective, and you still feeling the sunlight and the sun, you sitting by a window inside the house, you can still get UV damage, and so you want to make sure you have your sunscreen on. So UV rays are present year round. Once you see the sun out there like that, okay, UV rays, just think that. Who needs radiation to be like that? I know y'all know radiation is not good for like the human condition or experience, right? So yes, UV rays are present year round, and sunscreen is just as important in the fall as it is in the summer, winter, the spring, all the time. Okay. Sun exposure is cumulative, and daily protection helps to minimize long-term damage. I will say, a lot of times we are not thinking about the long-term damage, and you don't get to go back around and fix it. You'll be like realizing when you're old and wrinkly And you can't go back and fix it. And you see now the lines around your lips, the lines in the middle here, the ones you put on your forehead from constantly being like this. I've got to raise up my bangs to show you these expressions because this is what we do all the time. But for whatever reason, the mind is so fickle. You know, we always think the best thoughts towards ourselves, like rules don't apply to us, or we give ourselves so many soft outs. So when we see the results of what we've been doing, we make excuses for it. And here is what I am saying. With the knowledge that you gather, I want you to consider application. You must consider applying what are the new things that I learned today. It may not be skincare, but just in life. If you're not applying the new knowledge that you accumulate, how is it wisdom? It's not. It's not. Wisdom is the action of applying the knowledge that you know. So again, I say, for me, I make Bible connections. And so I make Bible connections and it because it just pops up in my head. This is how this relates. If you want to do the same old thing you used to do, you are going to get the same old dang results. If you are open and you apply what you now know, infinite possibilities of different results comes up immediately. Okay? So trust yourself. Trust the process. Give the process a chance to work by doing something differently. So, sunscreen is all I need for protection. There's people who think that. I don't worry about that skincare business. The same people probably who just use water. What? You just want to use water on your face? Are you serious? But I went on a rant about that last time I was on this live, so I'm not going to rant about it today. But you see my expression? Let me raise my bangs. What? Yeah, that's my expression for you that want to wash your face with water only. Because you don't do that to your dishes. I guarantee you don't do that to your shower. You wash your shower with something. However, I digress. Let's go back to you applying this knowledge of the importance of sunscreen, because that's my thing today. I came on with all these myths that people usually respond with when I am sitting in front of them. And yes, I am nicer, I try to apply the truth with love, but on here, I get to let you know in your own house how I really feel about it. With love, in love, because of love, I'm telling these truths, right? And nobody know who's guilty or what. All I'm saying, I'm handing you the truth, and you're supposed to take it, put it, ingest it in small portions, big portions, however it is that you process, okay? And once you get the information, all I'm asking is that you now apply that so that it can be wisdom in your life and so that you can reap the benefits of such. So, fact is, sunscreen is important, but it's the best used in combination with all forms of protection, such as wearing protective clothing, hats and such, sunglasses and such, and seeking shade from the sun when it's in its strongest hours out there, like between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Sun be blazing like y'all gonna pay for these sins now. The fire, okay? I don't know if I'm alone in this, okay? But even in the Caribbean, the sun was not my favorite thing to. I like to be out there, okay, with the best of them. I like to do outdoor activities. No, and when I was younger, I'm not a girl you're gonna find with dirt under her nails. I wasn't planting nothing. No, I like the garden life. That came with the husband. But I'm just saying, I did not like. I did not like the dirt and doing all it. And I didn't like feeling roasted and burned up. So you would catch me in the shade, you would catch me with the white Burns hat, you would catch me in the AC, okay? And in the Caribbean, no, wasn't wearing no sunscreen, and it just wasn't my preference, right? So, in order not to feel, and I didn't get, I guess, the worst of the impact of that because it wasn't my first love to be outside burning. But some people accept it as their fate in the Caribbean. And I didn't like how it looked. I didn't like how charred people would look. And I was using the same thing they were using because I was taught the same lessons they were taught. And I do love my Caribbean people. I love where I'm from. I love all the lessons I've learned, even the ones that are funny, hella funny, because I came here and grew up and then discovered that half of them things, yeah, I know it wasn't true. Old wives' tale, we got a boatload of those that we should throw away. But I don't throw them away because now they just make me laugh. But because I see where it may not make sense out like when you grow up, but in order to instill, I guess, fear of the Lord in you, like respect for him, not fear like, oh, I'm so scared, I don't want a relationship with God, he's mean or anything like that. I mean fear as in reverence for God. They told you a lot of stuff that wasn't necessarily true. I mean, but you have to get up. You're responsible for yourself, I say, once you're grown and got your own place. Okay? Then you're responsible for your relationship with God. So you should read your word. You should pursue the things that are in your heart that you were born to do, you know, so that you can walk your own journey and take responsibility. That's something people don't like to do anymore per se, but take responsibility for the things that you're doing that you could be better, the areas you could be better in. Take responsibility for where you are now. It's a sum total of your decisions. Some things are some people's fault. However, we do have choice of whether we participate or not. Even in domestic violence situation, a lot of the times you're not necessarily chained there, and you have to, I would recommend you open your mind to, well, what do I want? Check with yourself. Remember the other night they was also talking about you have to choose you. God chose you for a specific thing in this earth, right? And he believes in you. The way he made you up is so that you can conquer, achieve, and do this particular thing in the earth that no one else could do. Because everybody is so original. We are like, even our fingerprints are so different, right? So, yeah, I say go after, check with yourself first. See what you are all about. What is your story? What's your blueprint? What is your purpose? And then how am I going to achieve that purpose? And so forth and so on. But you have to know that for yourself first before you go confronting people and changing situation and acting. Strategy is important. Hey, take your time. Talk to God and get direction, and don't act all willy-nilly. Again, I digress. One thing leads to another, I'm telling you. But we're going back to sunscreen, okay? Because that's the topic of this afternoon. Sunscreen. And before we get done, the difference between mineral sunscreen, that's something I wanted to tackle. Because someone asked, what is the difference between mineral sunscreen and regular sunscreen? The difference lies in the type of ingredients that is used and how they protect your skin from the sun's ultraviolet rays. Here's the breakdown on the differences. First of all, the active ingredient in mineral sunscreen is physical sunscreen. Active ingredients is zinc oxide. I mentioned this earlier in one of the earlier myths that we were talking about, and titanium dioxide, right? And these ingredients act as physical barriers that sit on top of the skin and reflect the UV rays back out. So it's like ironclad protection. Both UVA and UVB rays, they reflect them off of you. So there's no penetration, right? So people, all of my natural folks, yes, they would embrace the mineral sunscreen. And lucky for me, what? Mary Kay does have mineral sunscreen. And you got to get them while they last. Because honestly, they only sell that stuff in the summer months. Even though, calm down. Even though our skincare sets have them in there. Okay? Broad spectrum, across the board. We don't do nothing less. Right? So that's it for the that's it for the expanding of understanding on the mineral sunscreen. However, now for the active ingredients in chemical sunscreen, these include chemicals like do you care? Do you care about the chemicals? Oxybenzone, octane. Stop calling me. I'm busy right now. I'm so sorry. I didn't look at the time. I'm supposed to be somewhere else, y'all. I got Saturday responsibilities, but this was important because I did say I was going to come on and build a relationship and bring you information, expand your wisdom, your knowledge on things, and hope that you would choose wisdom. So I'm trying to do what I said I was going to do. But let me hurry up and finish. So homosalate, also, this is why I didn't want to, per se, because I don't think that y'all gonna care about the chemicals and remember them and all that. And I'm butchering like the names and stuff. But the whole point is chemical sunscreens, whatever they're made of, are safe now, and they are absorbed by your skin. What am I saying? They convert the UV rays into heat, which is then released from your skin. Okay, the mode of action of mineral sunscreen: it provides physical protection. It creates a layer on your skin surface that reflects UV rays, which is totally hot, I think. That reflects UV rays, preventing them from penetrating your skin. Think of it like a shield that protects you from the sun. That's how I think of it. So chemical sunscreen works by absorbing the UV radiation and transforming it into transforming it into a form of heat, which is then released from the skin. It acts like a sponge, soaking up the UV rays and turning them into something less harmful. Okay? Application, texture, mineral sunscreen is thicker and often leaves like a white coat on the skin, which people don't really like due to the physical properties of the zinc oxide and the titanium dioxide. This white cast, especially on black people, we don't like that. Oh, especially on colored folks, because we could see it. Okay, we don't think that. But we do like, the whole shielding thing. So a lot of times we opt for the chemical sunscreen to avoid the white veil. Anyway, back to the information I want you to know. This white cast is This white cast is especially notable on darker skin tones, but is less of an issue with tinted formulas. Generally, mineral sunscreens feel heavier on the skin, so don't be shocked and surprised, because I know you're going to try it, right? Amen. So, chemical sunscreens are lightweight and tends to be more easily absorbed into the skin. Usually doesn't leave visible white residue on wherever you rub it, okay, on your skin, making it ideal for those who prefer a barely there kind of feel. And broad spectrum protection mineral sunscreen provides broad spectrum protection naturally because of both the zinc oxide and the titanium dioxide that protects against both UVA and UVB rays. Some chemical sunscreen offer both broad spectrum protection, and not all of them do that. Okay, you need to know that. Don't assume. Read the label. Some may need additional active ingredients to protect against UVA rays, and you'll want to check for the product's labels, and make sure it says broad spectrum to ensure that you have coverage for both UVA and UVB rays. What did I say the UVA and B rays are? If you were listening, type it in the chat. Type it. Aging rays, burning rays. I hope you said that, okay? Now, also ask me questions. You can DM me and ask me questions. I will answer you personally, or I will come on here and make it useful for everybody. But basically, that's about as much as I'll cover today. There is a piece I had here I wanted to read for people with eczema, because that's not fun. But it's out here, and so we got to deal with it. So, suitably for sensitive skin would be the mineral sunscreen. Generally considered better for sensitive skin because of it is less likely to cause irritation. So mineral sunscreen is what I'm saying is recommended for things that get activated and itchy and stuff like that. It's also often recommended for those with rosacea, eczema, and acne. Okay? So don't say, people like to do that, oh, I have sensitive skin, so I can't use this or that. And so you're doing what? You have to find what works for you. Because you have sensitive skin doesn't mean the problem suddenly doesn't exist anymore. What's the problem? The problem being we need to clean our skin often, regularly, and we need to find something that works for our equilibrium. Okay? Something that works for us effectively. Okay? Now I'm a big girl, so I have to say, I do like the nicer things. When I was a teenager, when I was younger, I have to be in a budget and I have to shop at the things that. But as you get older, it's okay to spend some money on yourself. It's okay to elevate your experience. It's okay to have expectations. Set some expectations, okay? What this girl don't want is to show up anywhere looking like she didn't even try. Okay? Then I ain't interested. But I would still be. I'm always out here. I always say you're out here representing your family, your God, yourself. If you got a man, your man. Okay? So, your children, you don't want to be so embarrassed of you. So, put your best foot forward when it comes to you, and then you can put your best foot forward when it comes to everybody else. So, God loves you. I love you. It's been the bomb hanging out with you. Thank you for rocking with me today. Share my live, will you? Share it with a friend. Definitely give me some hearts if you like what the content is. Just give me some hearts for encouragement's sake, okay? And we'll continue this journey of elevating ourselves and just exposing knowledge to others that they should have, especially our young generation who may or may not be in a position to have these conversations with their aunties or their moms or their grandma, whoever the matriarch of the family is, that have these talks. Because when I was younger, it was my grandma. I would sit with her and learn so much. But then also, as I became of age, my mother did a fantastic job of sharing some information about what ladies should, about the whole lady experience, celebrating your femininity, and just the small things that you can do. It doesn't have to be that you go get yourself beat every day and you just, no. It's the small things you do for mental health. It's the way you carry yourself. It's understanding what modesty is. I wonder sometimes if anybody know about that these days. But I digress. All my love, take good care of yourself. Y'all go to church this weekend. Do something. Do something good for somebody else. But also, take some time for yourself, because that's what we're talking about. Eat the cake. Do something for you. Get a glass of champagne. Okay? God loves you. I love you. Go be blessed and have a fantastic weekend. Discover a new you this weekend with your self-care. God bless. Bye.